Dear students, this class is in continuation with the previous class on Newton's first law of motion. Okay, children, so I continue from here. In the previous class, I just discussed with you about inertia and about how inertia is related to the mass of a body. Okay, now, and I also told you that Newton's first law is of motion is also known as the law of inertia. Now, why is it called the law of inertia? Because it states that a body continues to remain in a state of rest, okay, or in its state of motion until an external force is applied onto the body to change it, to bring about a change in its inertia. Okay, so that is Newton's first law of motion. Now let's see how is it applicable in our day-to-day lives. Okay, now let us pick up a few examples from our day-to-day lives on inertia of rest. We are going to discuss, I've put down a few points over here. These are examples which I have picked up from our day-to-day life, and we are going to discuss about inertia of rest. Now see children, these are very important facts. Okay, look at the first fact. When a train suddenly starts moving forward, you let us suppose that we are standing in a train, right? It is at rest. All of a sudden, when the train starts moving, you will feel that you get a jerk backwards. Now, why do you get a jerk backwards? The reason behind it is that initially the train is at rest and so is our body. Okay, now our body is in inertia of rest, but as soon as the train suddenly starts, the lower part of our body, because it is in contact with the train, it sets into motion. But the upper part of our body still tends to maintain its inertia of rest. And due to that, we get a jerk backwards and we tend to fall backwards. Okay, children, look at the second fact. Suppose you have a hanging carpet and you beat the carpet with a stick. What will you see? You will observe that the dust particles, they start falling out of the carpet. How does this happen? And if the carpet is just below it, you will find that the dust particles rise up and then again they go and settle back on the carpet. Okay, the reason behind this is that the dust particles, when you beat the carpet with a stick, the dust particles are set into motion. Okay, but they still try to maintain their inertia of rest, due to which what happens? They rise up, and because the carpet is just below, the dust particles do rise up, but then they tend to maintain their inertia of rest and fall back onto the carpet. So for that, what we have to do? To avoid that, what will we do? We will drag the carpet backwards so that when the dust particles rise up, they fall on the ground and not on the carpet again. Look at the third example. On shaking the branches of a tree, the fruits fall down. Now, what's the reason behind this, children? Actually, the fruits are attached to the branches of the tree. Okay, now when we shake the branch of a tree, what happens? The branch of the tree is set into motion, right? But the fruits tend to maintain their inertia of rest. But because they are attached to the branches by weaker twigs, they tend to break and fall. But what happens? Why do they fall down? They fall down because they tend to maintain their inertia of rest. So due to that, they tend to fall down on the ground due to gravity. Okay, so they try to maintain their inertia of rest due to that. Okay, let us look at another example. When a card placed on a tumbler, it's a kind of a game, you place a card over a tumbler and on the card you place a coin, right? Now what you have to do is you have to flick the card with a force, sharply with a force. You will find that the card will fly off, but the coin will fall into the tumbler. Why does this happen? Why does the coin not move out with the card? Because the coin tends to maintain its inertia of rest. So even if the card moves away, the coin tends to maintain its inertia of rest, and because the card has moved away, so therefore the coin falls into the tumbler. Okay, so these are all examples from our day-to-day lives which prove that a body tends to maintain its inertia of rest. Okay, even when the force is applied to it. Okay, and when a greater force is applied to it, then only it will change its inertia of rest to inertia of motion. Okay, children. Now look at some more examples. These are examples on inertia of motion. Okay, these are again picked up from our day-to-day life. I will discuss the facts one by one. Look at the first one. A cyclist while riding on a level road does not come to rest immediately after he stops pedaling. You must have also experienced this. While you're pedaling on a bicycle, you stop pedaling. Even after stopping pedaling, what is going to happen? The bicycle won't stop at once. It will take some time to stop. Why so? Because it tends to maintain its inertia of motion. And how does it stop then? Because there is friction between the tire and the ground. That's why. Okay, otherwise it would have gone on and on without stopping if there would have been no friction, but it tends to maintain its inertia of motion. Look at the second one. When a passenger jumps out of a moving train, he falls. Why? Now what happens? Initially, when the passenger is in the train or in a bus, okay, in a moving train or in a moving bus, what is going to happen to its body? It's going to be in an inertia of motion, because the body is actually touching the floor of the vehicle. So it's going to be in a state of motion. But as soon as the passenger jumps out, and his feet come to rest on the ground, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, the feet come to rest, but the upper part of the body tries to still maintain the inertia of motion. And due to that, an imbalancing takes place and the passenger might fall. So in order to not, if the passenger is wise enough, if he jumps out of the train or the bus, what will the passenger do? He will keep running for some distance so that slowly and steadily, it maintains motion, inertia of motion, and slowly the passenger would come to stop. In that case, the passenger will not fall. Okay, look at the third one. When a moving car suddenly stops, why does the passenger lean forward? Because initially when the car is in motion, the body of the passenger is also in inertia of motion. But when the car suddenly stops, the lower part of the person's body being in contact with the car, is suddenly, when the car stops, the lower part of the body also comes to rest. But the upper part of the body still tends to maintain the inertia of motion, due to which the person leans or tends to lean forward. Okay, children, look at the last one. An athlete often runs before taking a long jump. Why? Because what's the purpose of a long jump? The person has to cover a longer distance. So what is the athlete going to do? First of all, the athlete is going to maintain an inertia of motion. So for that, which will help him to take a longer jump. Okay, so therefore what will the athlete do? He will run a little distance, a few meters before taking the long jump, so as to maintain an inertia of motion in the body. And as the athlete maintains an inertia of motion, after that, after reaching a particular point, he will take the long jump and cover a greater distance. So children, we have looked at so many examples on inertia of rest and inertia of motion, which are related directly to Newton's first law, that unless and until we apply an external force to a body, the inertia of rest or the inertia of motion is not going to change, because the body tends to maintain its inertia till the time a larger force acts on it and tends to change its inertia. And we also saw that inertia is directly proportional to the mass of the body. Greater the mass of the body, greater would be the inertia. Okay, and basically inertia is of two types: inertia of rest and inertia of motion. So children, with this we end Newton's first law of motion, which is also called the law of inertia, and I want you to go through the different examples. Okay, and there are few more examples which I am going to take up in the interactive class and explain, and we will have a discussion on them in our upcoming interactive class. Okay children, so thank you very much.